guys, welcome back to my channel, Rewind That. It's your girl, Miss K. So tonight we're going to be going over the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And that episode was called, What Would Michelle O Do? Alright, so we're going to jump right into it, guys. If this is your first time coming across my channel, please hit that subscribe button so you can enjoy more videos like this one. Okay, so guys, bear with me because for those that are already subscribed to me, you know that I've only done reviews on scripted dramas so far. So this is my first time tapping into the reality TV world, right? I'm not new to it though, okay? I follow all of these shows and I definitely love them. Guilty pleasure, sorry. But if you're watching, that's the reason why you're here too. So we're here. We see each other. Anyway, so welcome me to this side of the fence. So we're gonna start off with the first scene, which is Kenya going over to Cynthia's house, and you know she needs help with her closet and all this stuff because she wants to not move Mike in, but she wants to make room for him. And I guess Kenya is like, well, have you guys had that conversation? Are you guys engaged yet? And you know, things like that. So she's not totally on board with the moves that Cynthia is making. And Cynthia is more like, did you take that? Did you go through those steps? Did you have the conversation? You know, Cynthia's kind of jumpy, it seems, right? Because she feels like, how can Kenya talk when she married Mark after 3 months? Okay, she's made a valid point, yes, right? But at the same time, she might also want to think that maybe there's a reason why Kenya has reservations, because Kenya is already going through marital problems. I think is she divorced yet? I think she might even be divorced by now. But anyway, her and her husband are not together. Okay. And so basically her marriage did not work out. So her saying these things and expressing her concerns and all that, it's probably just her way of trying to protect her friend from going through the same thing. Now, maybe some people think it could be jealousy. I don't know. But I kind of feel like it might be her way of saying, slow down, girl. I moved a little too fast and, you know, it didn't really work out. But at the same time, she keeps saying to Cynthia, but you guys are not engaged yet. You guys are not engaged yet. So I guess she kind of feel like they should be engaged first before they move on to moving in together. But that's Cynthia's whole thing. Like, why are you saying that when you married a guy in 3 months? Whatever. It's like a complicated situation. But anyway, so they sit down and they talk about Marlo's event. And Kenya's going to say that she feels sorry for Marlo. Okay? Girl. Kenya gonna say, you know, I really feel sorry for her because she always feels the need to personally attack somebody, which is definitely true. I will say with Marlo, you know, she has that type of personality that she seems to always need to hit below the belt, and I don't like that. She has a real mean girl type of spirit, and then she got this whole thing where she seems like she cares. She seems like she could be a loving person. It's a lot going on with Marlo. So in a way, me looking in, I think that Marlo does have a lot of hurt that she's not telling. But the crazy thing is, if you got all this pain and you have this hurt, but you don't share it with nobody, why are you out here uncovering everybody else's? You know what I'm saying? Or hitting below the belt, talking about everybody else's business and things, stuff that's very hurtful, like saying things to Kenya about her mom abandoning her and things like that. That stuff should be off limits, you know, and it's just not right. So I don't agree with none of the things that Marlo does when it comes to that type of stuff. But at the same time, I didn't agree with Kenya going up into Marlo's event doing all that, you know, and especially if you're gonna now talk about, oh, I feel sorry for her, this and that. If you really felt sorry for her, that means you would have some empathy. That would imply that you actually recognize that the woman has some type of deep-rooted pain, right? And so you don't even got time to be going tit for tat with her because you know that she's a hurt person that likes to hurt people, right? That's what that means when you say you feel sorry for somebody, if you really feel sorry for them. So instead, she wants to do messy things. I'm talking about Kenya now. And do her little tit for tat. But what she should be doing is praying for the girl or killing her with kindness, or just don't even have time for her. That's it. Like, why if you don't like her, you should have never showed up to her event. That's it. Just like Eva did. I'm not really a fan that much of Eva because I feel like she's very shady, and then she doesn't own the shade a lot of times. But I will say this. She said she's not going to Marlo's event. She ain't got nothing for Marlo, and she showed that she doesn't have anything for Marlo. That's the way you do it. Not with all the extra mess. Anyway, so next we got Kandi, and she gets a call from Riley, who asks if she can cop a vintage like Fendi sweatshirt or some type of Fendi shirt. And I was really proud of Kandi when she was like, no ma'am, you need to spend your own money. Kandi's rich, so of course her child, grew up privileged. Her children will grow up privileged. If they're born with like a silver spoon, it's still important to teach them work ethic. And so I'm very happy. I think a lot of times people, they kind of miss that. You know what I mean? That's the error that they make when they have money and then they shower their kids with everything, give them everything, and then when they get out in the real world, they don't really know what to do. So it is very important. So I definitely commend Kandi on that. I hope that that's something that continues, you know what I mean, just for Riley's sake. So I also agree with Kandi about Todd needing to slow down a bit. And she's talking about, Carmen came over talking about how Todd called her, said he bought a tractor trailer and all this stuff. And she's saying that, I'm very happy that my man is overly ambitious, but he needs to slow it down because we have a baby coming and you need to make time for the baby. And this is true. When you have all these ambitions, you really have to be careful not to push your family out of the way because your time is so consumed with all your dealings, all the businesses, all the work, whatever it is. And you turn around and you got all this success and all this money, but you don't have anybody to share it with because your wife or your husband was tired of being neglected, Anyway, so next we got Porsha and Marlo, and they're on some pedaling tour. Which, by the way, the guide who is, pedaling with them, or basically their tour guide, didn't he sound like Cat Williams a little bit? I thought so. But anyway, so they're talking, and Marlo's basically saying how Nene's the only one in the group that has shared stuff, like personal things that are going on with her and Greg and this and that and the third. And then Porsha's like, I don't think she's really shared anything, and I'm looking at the TV like, really, Porsha? Like, that's how you really feel? I kind of feel like with Porsha, if she has beef with you and she don't like you, she just has something to say against you because she doesn't like you, whether it's the truth or not. And I'm not saying that Porsha is a liar or nothing like that. I'm just saying that, like, some people, if they don't like somebody and you bring their name up, it's like they feel like they have to say something negative about them. My point is, because I'm the type of person that I'm just about being unbiased. Like, if I don't like you, but if something happens and you're actually the right one in the situation, I'm gonna see that you're right. Just because I don't like you don't mean I'm gonna be like, yeah, she shouldn't have did that, this and that. No, I'm not gonna side against you just because I don't like you. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Right is right and wrong is wrong with me. That's how I am. So I kind of feel like Porsha has a little struggle with that. She's one of those kind of people. A lot of people have struggles with that. Everybody's not gonna be like that. I got my flaws. Everybody got their flaws, right? But anyway, so that was Marlo's way of digging all up in Porsha's business, trying to get down to the nitty gritty of what's going on with her and Dennis. And Porsha's just like, I just don't really want to talk about it, and I don't feel like telling one person and then telling the same story over and over, that's her prerogative, that's her business, you know what I'm saying? And oh yeah, and back to the whole thing with her saying that with Porsha saying that Nene didn't share anything. I don't feel that way. I kind of feel like she shared enough. Like, for the nosy people, maybe it wasn't enough for them, you know what I'm saying? But she shared a whole lot. She shared things that was going on between her and her husband. She shared they're having difficulty in their marriage. She shared the journey of being with a man, or being married to somebody that was battling cancer, So it's like, what more did you really want her to share? You know what I'm saying? And she took it. It was hard on her as the caregiver, and I know she caught a lot of backlash for that. But you know, she shared those things. What more do you want? Sometimes, I mean, I just didn't understand what Porsha was saying with that. But anyway, so now they start talking about where Porsha is with Nene, because Marlo's asking those questions. Where are you at with Nene? And she's like, I'm really upset. Portia's saying, I'm really upset with Nene. I'm hurt by her, this and that and the third, because I felt like I was that friend that, you know, Nene can come to, and I could make Nene feel good about, you know, what's going on in her life. And, you know, to be honest, we don't really know if that's what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Nene denies it. And Nene's not always, listen, I feel, that's my girl, I like Nene, but I kind of feel like Nene be forgetting certain things. Like when, I'm jumping ahead, but this is just an instance. Like when Eva brought up at the reunion, right? Because they showed that clip. At the reunion, Eva brought up how when she walked away from the dinner table and she left because Marlo brought up some rumors. So Nene was like, she's going to go talk to her, but the producers wanted her to take off the mic. So she told Eva that she's going to talk to her without the mic, but she actually went over there and still had the mic on. So when she was confronted by Eva about that at the reunion, Nene says she denied it basically, right? And so I'm just saying, Nene might forget certain things, or she could be playing dumb at the time when she's proven to be wrong. That's one point. Y'all can tell me what y'all think about that. Okay, but anyway, my point is that on Porsha's side, she's saying, I've been there for her. I've been a friend to her. I've been supportive. She's been able to come to me as a shoulder to lean on, somebody to make her happy, somebody to, you know, make her forget about the stuff that she's going through, right? And on Nene's side of things, she's saying, I've been that big sister to you. I've been the one that's, you know, coming to you when everybody was against you. I was there, blah, blah, blah. And that's something that us, the viewers, have actually seen. But we haven't actually seen Porsha doing that. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. You know, y'all might remember something else. I could have probably forgot, and they showed it and I forgot, you know what I'm saying? But if that's what y'all know, then y'all can always put that down in the comments and remind me, because I could be wrong. But I don't remember Porsha going to Nene, being supportive, making her feel all better and stuff like that. I've always seen the clips of Nene doing that, okay? But it doesn't, just because we don't see it, and that's the tricky thing about reality TV, just because we don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. So it doesn't mean that what Porsha's saying is not true, but it's her perspective at the same time. She may have been there once for Nene and kind of feels like that was enough. Sometimes you got certain people that do something one time and they'll tell you they do it all the daggone time, because it's just big to them like that. Anyway, so let's move on. Next, we got Nene meeting with her life coach, and Nene is expressing how she's at a point in her life where she wants peace, okay? And she was also honest about how, you know, if she's going to apologize for something, she wants to know why she's apologizing. You know, am I wrong or what? You know, so this whole journey that Nene is on, I like it. I'd like to see how far it goes. I really hope that it's something real, and she really does go for this peace in her life. You know what I'm saying? And she really wants to make amends with people and stuff like that. So we'll see. It's always nice to be drama-free, right? But sometimes, you know, when you're drama-free, reality TV act like they don't want you no more, because then people ain't checking for, you know, the peacemakers, unfortunately. Ain't that sad? So she also mentioned that she was, you know, apprehensive about going on a trip with the ladies, because there's always been some drama, and the ladies then gave her 4 bald spots in the past because from dealing with them. Anyway, next we got Kandi, and she's getting ready to take Kayla to the airport because Kayla's moving back to New York or whatever. And Kandi makes some more legitimate concerns, and one of the concerns was that the distance that's going to be made by Kayla moving to New York, she's concerned about the strain it might put on Kayla and Todd's relationship, because they've already had situations where they've been in the same house and haven't talked for a month. So she's concerned about that. That's definitely a legitimate concern, and I really hope that Todd gets that together, because it's very important to be there as fathers for your kids. A lot of times fathers think that because they're in their children's lives in terms of even monetary support or just living in the same house, they think that's enough. Oh, I didn't abandon my family. You know, they live in the same house, but yet they don't give emotional support. They don't give hugs. They're not affectionate. They don't go to games, and they're just not involved at all. And by being present but not present, that does not mean that you're the father that your child needs. You know what I'm saying? It's very tough, and you got to be careful as a father, because you could actually be creating a void in your child's life by not being active, by not being emotionally supportive for them, and by, you know, not doing all those things that they actually need you to do. So it's important. So I understand, you know, that's a legitimate thing that Kandi is talking about. It's a legitimate concern. Her other concern was that her and Ty, when it comes to their biological children, they each have the final say of what's going to happen. You know what I mean? But her thing is now with the biological children that they have together, Ace and the new baby coming, I think her name is Blaze. Well, she's here now, but Ace and Blaze, how are they going to be parents to the two kids that they have together without bumping heads? I do definitely see how she's concerned about that. All right. Now, next we have Mike and Cynthia, and they're on a double date with the other Mike and Eva. And they start talking about the recording that Nene says she has. All right. So the first thing that they talk about is they ask Eva's husband, you know, if it's legal to have this recording and to share it or whatever. And so Mike says, Eva's husband, he says, it's legal if the person that recorded the conversation was actually a part of the conversation. But if they were overhearing two people's conversations, like other people's conversations from like another room or something like that, and they were not a part of it, then it's illegal. So anyway, but the whole point of the date was they're playing some type of bowling, like football bowling type of thing, mixture or whatever. And so Mike and Cynthia, they placed this bet about, oh, if I lose, or you know, if I win, you have to move to LA with me. And she's like, if I win, you got to move to Atlanta with me, which I think is very stupid. And I mean, clearly they had to be playing around, because that's not something that you would take lightly or something you would actually place a bet on, I hope. So, but my question to you guys is, if she actually did move to LA with her man, she clearly couldn't be on The Real Housewives of Atlanta anymore. So my question is to you guys, would you miss Cynthia? At this point, I don't think I would. I've liked Cynthia for a very, very long time, and I never wanted her to be off the show. But I think this time, if she left, I would not care. And that's no disrespect to her. I just wouldn't care anymore. So now, then we got Kenya. She's meeting with an estate planner, and she's going over her assets because she's concerned, because her and Mark are having problems. So she's concerned about her home and her hair care line and things. She wants to make sure that Brooklyn's future is secured. So unfortunately, she shares that she did not get a prenup. And I'm pretty sure at this point in her life, she regrets not getting a prenup, because you know, it didn't work out, especially after knowing this man for 3 months. You should have definitely got a prenup, you know. But sometimes people, it is what it is. You know, people, they fall in love, and, you know, she's in a very tough situation, and I really do feel bad for her. You know, despite some of her ways, I feel like she's mean sometimes, but I've always rooted for her to get that family that she's always wanted, the man and the child. Thank God that she actually has the baby, and I'm very happy for her for that, but I do feel bad that it didn't work out with her and her husband. So that's a tough situation to be in. Lastly, we have Porsha and Dennis in their second therapy session with Dr. Sherry. And Porsha brought up the fact that she doesn't like when Dennis says that his cheating was a mistake, because it's insulting to her. She tells him that if you want to have any progression with me, you need to take ownership. You know, you have to be accountable for everything you have done. And even after she said that, I feel like Dennis was still trying to give excuses for everything. You know, like, oh, we weren't having that much sex, and the postpartum situation. And, you know, even her hearing that, still, you can see that it still hurt her and stuff like that. So those were not legitimate excuses. And he did acknowledge, you know, I know that's not an excuse or anything like that, but this, that, and the third. Okay? Just take ownership, bruh. Like, that's it. Because it's just, it's just a tough, sad situation again. Another sad situation. I hate to see these two women, they finally get what they want. Finally. The man, the baby, and then it's like they get the babies, and then the guys screw up, or in Kenya's case, her man just plain don't want her anymore. Like, that's so sad. You know, she was abandoned by her mom, and now she's like getting abandoned by her husband. So it's tough. And then you have, you know, Porsha, she falls in love with this guy, she finally gets her child, and then he's, you know, out there dogging her out. And it's sad because the children are now growing up in broken homes. So I respect Porsha for trying to stick it out and trying to see if it can work and everything. But you know, that whole situation of building trust, like Dr. Sherry was talking about, that, you know, that's something serious right there. It's not easy. It's so easy to break trust, right? But it sure the heck ain't easy to rebuild it at all. Because you know why? The first mistake that you make, it's like, boom, you knock down the building once again. So it's very important that when you're rebuilding trust with anything, it doesn't have to just be infidelity or anything like that. It could just be anything that has to do with trust. It could be financial matters, all that stuff. You have to remember that in the back of that person's mind that you're rebuilding that trust with, they are very skeptical about the things that you have done, and they don't feel like they can rely on you in certain areas because you screwed up in that area. So that means you got to get it straight for a long time. There's no room for error, unfortunately, when you're rebuilding trust, because once you do it again, or like I said, make some type of mistake, the building crashes down again and you would have to start all over again. That's just how it is, guys. Anyway, so but you know, she was basically saying, before I go, she was basically saying that, you know, I want you to want this, right? Porsha was saying that to Dennis. I want your heart to want it. I want you to be with me because your heart wants it, not because your loins want it, you know. And she made a lot of sense, especially when at the end, when they were driving home, he's talking about, oh, you looking good today, you looking nice or pretty or something that he said, you know, and she's blushing, of course. And then he said, can I come over? You know, that's what the heck she's talking about. She doesn't want it to be a lust thing. She wants it to be real, like love for real, you know. So anyway, I just hope they get it all together, you know. I'm rooting for them. I'm not into the, you know, all of the broken family thing and stuff like that. So, you know, I do feel bad for these ladies. But next week, we will be catching up to see what's going on again. It looked like Cynthia might be getting proposed to. I don't know, whatever, we'll see. And that was my review for tonight, guys. Let me know what you thought about this episode, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. All right, take care. Bye-bye.